While Portland police statistics show homicides and overall shootings declined last year compared to the previous year, they're still well above their 2019 levels. What is your plan as DA to reduce gun violence, specifically in East County neighborhoods that often feel overlooked? Mr. Schmidt?
Yes. So gun violence has been a tragedy in our community. It's way too high. It's positive that it's coming down, as is violent crime across the board, but there's a lot more work to do. Specifically in East County, I've been a champion of getting resources out to youth. We see a lot of the gun violence involving youth individuals. And so I've supported programs like the flag football, the NFL flag football program, giving kids pro-social activities to do out there, especially in our East County. But also what we've done internally in the office as prosecutors, we prosecute cases. That's what we do. I've reorganized our office to have the first ever homicide unit. So I have experienced prosecutors that are working specifically on those cases so they can give them their most attention and work with victims closely to make sure that they're up to date on what's going on in the investigations. But I know that we have to get in front of gun violence. That's reactive. And so I've partnered with OHSU, and we're studying gun violence for the first time in Multnomah County's history with doctors, epidemiologists, teachers, religious leaders, people from across the spectrum, so that they can help advise us on what policies we should adopt to reduce gun violence before it happens.
Thank you. Mr. Vasquez?
Yeah, let's be very clear. The past 4 years have been very rough. We've seen record homicides, as much as over 100 homicides in our community. Back when I was prosecuting cases, I saw that there would only be 20 a year, but I have been there. I'm the only one before you that has actually prosecuted a murder case. In fact, I've done dozens upon dozens. And sadly, this year alone, we're in a situation where right now, as we sit here today, this year per date, we have more homicides than Seattle and San Francisco combined. That's a terrible place to be. And I'm the only DA with the experience necessary to actually make some changes here. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit down with a mother who has lost their child. And I'm not going to tell them, don't worry, Mike's got a study coming out in a while, and maybe that will change things. I'm the one that's going to get in there and make changes now, because our families, our community deserves this right now. It happens at the street level, working with officers, making sure that we're prosecuting the felons that are in possession of firearms that sadly, right now, are being released back on the street too often. It's about working with the U.S. Attorney's Office. It's about bringing back those community groups I mentioned, which went away under the elected DA and there's been no impetus to bring back. I will bring those back.
And that is time there.
There's a perception in Portland that the small stuff often isn't investigated or prosecuted, a perception that it's not just police or the DA's office, but rather a failure of a whole system. Examples include prolific graffiti, repeat vandalism like broken windows, and even something as small as expired tags or no license plates. As DA, what would your approach be to enforcing what some would call the small stuff? And how would you work with police and community groups to address them? Mr. Vasquez?
This is where the small stuff matters. When I talked about that before, it's very easy to see if you go back and look at Mike Schmidt's major reform promises in 2020, it was to stop doing this very thing. And it's led us to a place where it feels like we're in no rules Portland. And it's sad that we have a situation where, I speak to business owners regularly and they have their windows. It's not like, hey, have you had your window smashed out? They say, my window's been smashed out 9 times. And they just aren't seeing anything from the system. In fact, we've gotten to a place where many folks feel like the things that I reported 5 years ago wouldn't even bother picking up the phone now. It's because it's become so everyday. Under my leadership, of course, I'm going to go out to every precinct, to every roll call, and I will talk to those officers and say, guess what? We have an opportunity. We can be partners again. The partnership that Mike Schmidt broke, we can rebuild. We can deliver the justice this community needs.
Thank you. Mr. Schmidt?
So to actually answer your question, Noel, there's a whole lot of reasons why misdemeanors have gone down in our community. Obviously, the Portland Police Bureau, they wound down their traffic unit. That's why we saw traffic crimes go down, being referred and enforced. When you talk about tags in our community, I think I, like everyone else, was seeing cars driving around without a license plate. And you're like, what is happening right now? Well, no traffic unit will do that. Whether it's shoplifting and theft happening in our businesses that have really damaged a lot of our business community. We saw major shifts in policy, especially of big box stores, to no longer detain people and just let them go out the store. Now, they're making those decisions for liability reasons, but that makes the job of the police to actually get somebody and arrest them for those crimes incredibly challenging. Misdemeanor PCS went away underneath Measure 110. So it wasn't even a crime anymore. So that's why the numbers are down. We've been working with Portland Police. We put together the Organized Retail Theft Task Force. My deputy DA, who's in charge of that, Teresa Turner, has now trained over 375 loss prevention officers around our community. The stores are connected to us, and if they can't get their cases through traditional routes with the Portland Police Bureau, they can call Teresa and we'll make it happen.